In an age of rapid technological change, militaries are rethinking how they fight and adapt. Military transformation today actually extends beyond tasks and some basically troops. It includes algorithms, data, and artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Rabia, and joining me is retired Brigadier General Ufuk Uras, a distinguished military leader. General, I would like to start with the basics. What do we mean by the military transformation, and how is it really different from simple modernization or reform?
Military transformation is first a revolutionary change in the warfighting concepts and capabilities, and it is mainly driven by technological advancements, but not only limited to technological developments. It can also be driven by geopolitical shifts or financial constraints and emerging threats. It is focused on the warfighting concepts and capabilities.
So it's a like academic system, or what do we mean by it actually?
So it's a systematic approach. It has developed throughout the history. It is as old as the history of wars. But systematically, we can take it from 1970s. In 1970s, the Russian Field Marshal Ogarkov, he proposed the idea of military technical revolution, and he wanted to transform the massive Russian forces into a technologically advanced precision forces. But it was not possible to make this transformation happen. There was a war in Afghanistan between Russia and Afghans. There was also some political instability in Russia, and economic reasons prevented this happening. But this term is inherited by the Americans, and it is named as Revolution in Military Affairs. In 1990s, the US has used this to transform their forces. The American forces have become digital force. Precision network-centric operations have been the outcomes of this important transformation. Later, the term was criticized for lacking the culture and structural dimensions. The revolution in military affairs was focused only on technological advancements, but especially operations in Afghanistan has shown that the culture, the fighting culture, was missing, and the structure dimension was also missing because they had to carry out a fight against irregular Al Qaeda and Taliban forces, and the conventional forces were not suitable for fighting an irregular war. For that reason, the term has become military transformation. NATO has two strategic commands, and one of the strategic commands is named NATO Allied Command Transformation, which is in the United States. So the West has paid really high importance to this term, but it is different from defense reform. They are not the same thing. The focus of military transformation is mainly warfighting, whereas defense reform is mainly institutional and administrative improvements in the processes and procedures in the defense establishment. For example, the improvement of manpower system, improvement of operational planning, logistics. These processes, the improvement of these processes are part of defense reform.
I see. I believe hybrid warfare or like some kind of these modern expressions also being really effective on changing this transformation efforts, right?
So it is maybe related to the emerging threats. Hybrid warfare cannot be totally defined as a real transformation. It is maybe an evolution. It is not a revolutionary change. It is a kind of adaptation of new methods and tools into the already existing methods and warfighting concepts.
I see. So, General, maybe we can continue with the like AI and battlefield part?
Yes, we can. And I know that you are experienced on this and you have an interest and also an experience on artificial intelligence. I can
Yeah.
also ask you questions about this.
Yeah, I'll try to answer them as much as I can. But like I'd like to say like few technologies inspire as much excitement and anxiety actually as artificial intelligence. Like from autonomous drones to predictive logistics. Actually, AI promises speed and precision, but also raises questions about basically control, its control. So, as an engineer, maybe I can briefly unpack what we mean when we talk about AI in defense. AI isn't a single machine or program. It is a set of computational methods that allow systems to learn from data, recognize patterns from data, and make predictions at incredible speed. So, in a military context, that could mean analyzing hours of drone footage in seconds, or detecting missile launches automatically, or basically predicting equipment failures before they can happen. So there are a lot of things, a lot of areas that you can apply AI. So it's a tool. So it doesn't necessarily think, it calculates and optimizes, often much faster and generally much faster than any human could. So it can augment basically human decision making by providing insight and foresight. But as these systems become more autonomous, the line between assistance and independence begins to blur. So, General, how is AI already changing military operations? Where do you see its biggest impact in intelligence, logistics, or command?
The AI has already started changing the military processes and the tactics, concepts, but there are a long way to go. And in the near future, AI will really make a revolutionary change in the militaries. There are two main uses of AI. The first one is, as you also have just mentioned, to support the decision-making process. The integration of AI into the systems will increase the speed and the accuracy also of the decisions. Um, this is the first contribution. And the second one is the integration of AI into weapon systems. And this brings the question of the autonomy.
Mhm.
Today, we see that some countries have already testing autonomous systems. Drone swarms, for example, is an important example to that. The swarms can operate autonomously and they can detect the targets. They can assign tasks to the elements of the swarm. And in case of an element is destroyed, they can substitute the task of this element by another element. And
Yeah.
these are all done without any human intervention. So this capacity is going to be maybe one of the main revolutionary changes in the militaries of tomorrow. Today we are in fifth generation warfare. There are two dimensions of it. One is hybrid war, and the second one is multi-domain warfare. In the past, we had air, land, and maritime domains. Today, two new domains are added to this, like space domain and cyber domain. This is the reality of the fifth generation warfare. But in the sixth generation, which hasn't been defined yet, I believe that artificial intelligence will play a central role.
So, in most of the AI applications right now, we still have lots of humans in the loop. If even if you are using a coding agent, you need to be in there and you need to just like correct some mistakes or just give some feedback to be able to get the best result. So I wonder, will humans always remain in the loop for lethal decisions, especially in the like battlefield? That would be critical, isn't it?
Yes, I think this is one of the main debates about the use of AI in military operations. Um, the Although the AI will increase the accuracy of the decisions and maybe will even reduce the mistakes in the battlefield, the use of autonomous systems is not acceptable to many people. So The use of artificial intelligence in military operations, and especially in the use of lethal force, is one of the major concerns. For this reason, many people advocate that the humans always should be in the loop, or at least the humans should be in the final decision of using lethal force. The AI should not be allowed to fire by their own decision. So this is one of the main concerns, and but the challenge is how can humans control so many AI-based weapon systems? For example, a drone swarm. Imagine that it consists of 200 swarm drones in the swarm, and one operator, two operator, five. How many operators will you use to make the decisions in a very dynamic battle environment?
Yeah. That's for sure. And AI is actually just like giving us that kind of abilities. This is why we are using them at the first place. But the more we give AI control, basically, the less we understand what is happening in there because it kind of works like a black box for us too. So I think like deploying fully autonomous systems is kind of like the end goal in terms of technological advancement. But in terms of like gathering this into the life, like actually making it happen, it requires to solve a lot of ethical dilemmas, ethical questions. For instance, let's say there is an error and one machine instantly kills someone it's supposed not to do so. It's supposed not to do. So who is going to be charged for this kind of crimes? Like the government, the soldiers, like trying to control those things, or like the developer of the algorithm. So there are lots of dilemma in there and questions. So yeah, how close do you think are we to deploying fully autonomous systems? Do you think it's like really going to happen in a far future?
I don't think that we are close to that now, and for accountability reasons also, everybody wants humans to be in the decision-making cycle. Despite the challenge of having humans always in the loop in such dynamic environments, it is what everybody wants today. But I don't know whether this can be sustained always. There may
Yeah,
be cases in which the humans are bypassed by the autonomous systems. There may be system failures, or there may be some intentional decisions not to
yeah,
maintain humans in the decision cycle to allow the autonomous systems to perform better.
yeah.
So it brings the question. I think there is a need, and there is a need for an international convention on how to use artificial intelligence.
So
Also,
are there any existing laws in there?
last year, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution about AI, but it mainly encourages to use AI in civil sector.
Mhm.
It also establishes some principles on how to use it, but there is no any reference to military use of artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
But I hope that in the coming years, it will be one of the main agenda items for the United Nations. This year, in the United Nations General Assembly, China has brought this issue. I think they brought the issue of establishing an international organization for AI, for AI applications.
Let's see. I think also there are like lots of problems for like enabling people to use those kind of weaponaries too, because they're just like so extremely powerful and they can be devastating. Like I'm not sure even if we just like somehow enable some people to basically control, like keep being in the loop. I think the models and like the AI is basically just being developed incrementally. So there will be always, I believe, some kind of uh, something that we don't want, let's say. So, General, even in the age of transformation, the soldier basically remains central, but their role is actually evolving, right? So how will AI change the role of the soldier and officer of the future? We talked about their being in the loop, but let's make it just more solid for our listeners.
So for the officers, the AI is going to take many of the tasks of officers in the headquarters. In the past,
Mhm.
the officers were responsible to process the information and to develop courses of actions, options for the decision makers. But this job is now going to be carried out by the artificial intelligence, and the officers will be maybe in the loop to oversight the process and to check the developed processes. There are also risks about this because artificial intelligence can be also manipulated by the adversaries. For this reason, human in the loop is also an important factor to verify whether the proposals made by AI is relevant, is reliable, because the experience of officers and the intuition of officers are important to verify the reliability of the information. The weapon systems will reduce the need for fighting soldiers. The robot dogs were tested in the war in Ukraine. So they were operated by soldiers. There are many research and tests are being carried out by many countries. The drones in the air, the unmanned sea vessels, and unmanned ground vehicles are now able to operate without any human intervention by themselves. And this will really reduce the need for soldiers in the future.
For the research side, basically, all of the research is being in isolation. For instance, for terrains with sense, you need to develop some kind of algorithms and you need to basically develop your vehicle or technology in those kind of terrains or different weathers or different conditions, you know. So these are the researchers, the research that being done. And I believe this is what actually gives that capabilities that because like now you have this system that has adaptability to go even Mars, you know, like you're just basically designing it to be go there. So this is a huge opportunity and also risk, just shaking hands together.
Okay, so now we are in a transition phase. Still, we need soldiers on the ground to fight fierce battles.
Yeah.
If you look at the Russia-Ukraine war, every day thousands of soldiers are being killed from both sides in the war. So it will take time. Uh, there will always be need soldiers on the ground. Almost every armed force in the world, by gaining new technological capabilities, reduced the size of their militaries. Now, today, big armed forces, the manpower of big armed forces is about 400,000, 500,000. In the past, it was not a big size for many militaries. It was an average size. The American forces, for example, they were over 2 million. Now the American armed forces is about 1 million.
Yeah. Can we say maybe it's safe to say that we are just becoming more efficient in there? So, General, what are the skills basically military leaders need right now for these kind of developments?
So first of all, they need to maintain their traditional military skills because still the soldiers are fighting on the ground. The soldiers, especially the officers, need to also learn and adapt to these newly developing and integrated technologies. Artificial intelligence is today used as decision support tool. is increasing the speed and the accuracy of the decisions, and it's integrated into the processes. So the officers learn how to oversight the processes. But on the other side, the weapon systems have not been fully integrated with artificial intelligence yet.
Yeah.
The most developed weapon systems are unmanned systems, but they are still being operated by humans. They are not autonomous systems. For this reason, the officers, first of all, need to maintain their traditional skills, but at the same time, they need to gain new skills for the future transformation.
Yeah. Thank you, General. Those were all of my questions for today. Is there anything you'd like to ask as a closing remark?
Today, we are in the fifth generation warfare, but maybe 5 or 10 years later, we are going to enter into sixth generation warfare. It hasn't been defined yet, but it is for sure artificial intelligence will be at the center of this. I believe that there should be some international norms how to integrate artificial intelligence into militaries. Some people believe that the drone swarms will be much more dangerous than nuclear weapons. It's going to be really a big revolutionary change in the warfighting concepts in the future. Imagine thousands of drones in the air, thousands of sea vessels, ground vessels operating in synchronization autonomously, and this will totally change the battle space. For this
Yeah.
reason, we have to be prepared for this. And as a starting point, I believe that there must be an international convention on how to integrate the artificial intelligence into military systems.
Yeah. So thank you, General. I believe the future of warfare will depend not only on faster algorithms, but on wiser leadership. So I strongly agree with your saying. So, General Ufukras, again, thank you for your
Okay.
insights.
Thank
And
you. My pleasure.
yeah, and thank you all for listening. I'm your host, Rabia. I'll see you in the next